All right. So here with George Clements, and I've been working with him for about a month now and helping him optimize his paid ads system, paid ads channels, everything like that. He scaled up a pretty incredible agency, has a sick offer. So really pumped to highlight, his agency and just talk about a little bit about what we've done. So appreciate the time, sir.
No worries, bro. Let's take it from here.
Yeah. So give the people a little overview of what you do, who you are, and a little bit about the company.
Yeah, for sure. So, as Evan said, my name's George. I run an e-commerce advertising agency called Paid House Media. We primarily specialize in Google ads. About 2 months ago now, we've started to include other service lines, but so in terms of like revenue, from a revenue perspective, we've done our best months about 160K. We did that back in Jan. And I really started, I started working with Evan because we kind of just started to see a big dip in our paid ads performance. So a bit of context, we scaled 100% organically, which is like crazy to think about, to 7 figures. And we hit that in November of 2024. And then I basically switched paid ads on in December of the same year, and we doubled our revenue in like 2 months. We went from 80 to sort of 80K, like a 84K, whatever, like 7-figure run rate just about. And then we did, as I said, 160K in Jan. So we saw the performance of paid ads, or the potential of paid ads. And from then on, I was like convinced. I was like, this is the way to grow. This is the way to get to 500K a month, which is where we want to get to. And I thought it was just going to be all up from there. As Evan knows, like I got incredibly lucky with my first my first campaign. Like I basically just dropped a campaign and I got like a winning hook straight away. And I didn't know anything about like ads and media buying. And so we got very lucky. But yeah, obviously that luck ran out, and I started working with Evan in March. At that point, we had kind of dropped back down from doing 150, 160 to pretty much just getting over 100, which was pretty painful to say the least. And yeah, in terms of performance, we were struggling. We would go through days where we booked 0 calls, even though we were spending like nearly $1,000. And very painful situation to be in for sure. So yeah, working with Evan has just been a dream, because now we've been able to get to the point where we're booking 6 calls a day, filling up closers calendars again, and we are ready to scale to that next level.
Yeah, drop the CPMs below 100 for the first
Unreal.
while.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with Evan is like he really like taught me how to run ads, right? Like, yes, 100% it's all about the creative to some extent, but there is also a system behind it. There is some media buying behind it, like there is, and I didn't know whether I should run an ABO or a CBO or the ad sets or the targeting. I just didn't really know any of that. And yeah, now we've got it to a point with his system where, yeah, we've got a fucking campaign that's doing, sorry, I shouldn't swear. But we've got a campaign that's
It's on YouTube. We're good.
that's ripping. And we've gone from sort of £200 CPMs to £45 CPMs. We've literally, with Evan's help, like quartered our CPMs. So
Yeah. I mean, the main thing, it's cool, pretty much talking a little about what we did in general, right? So initially came in, and yeah, it's like you said, there's a lot of people say like, all right, media buying is just trust the algo, trust the algo, trust the algo. Yeah, to a large degree, you're trusting the algorithm for targeting and everything like that. Like next week, we're testing out some interest stacks and all that we'll build out on yours, but to really just bias the algo a little bit towards certain segments. But yeah, there's like a whole system, which is what I kind of like stepped in initially, was like, all right, we got to look at the entire system and where the main bottlenecks are, and then what's just the easiest thing to double. So, simplify the campaign structure, which was a big thing. Remove the opt-in as a test on the funnel, really just like lowered the friction. And then also the other thing that's been helping, which you got to look into the stats for sure, but the connecting Calendly, the small things like connecting Calendly to the end of the Typeform to limit the drop off from application page to scheduler page. So literally it's down to a 2-step funnel. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
and there's so many moving parts with ads. Like, if you're a company that's grown organically, it's a lot simpler. But once you start to scale pay ads, there's obviously huge benefits to doing so, but at the same time that introduces a lot of complexity, right? So it's like, it's all about identifying where the bottleneck is. So it's like, is it your opt-ins that's causing issues? Is it the application? If you're using an application in your funnel, is it the VSL they're not watching, or is it the endless, basically, show rate? And working with Evan has been so useful, because he's just been able to identify where that was. You really helped me realize that my funnel was pretty screwed, and I wouldn't have been able to kind of, I don't think, identify that without your help. So
I think just the biggest bottleneck initially was the opt-in page was getting,
Yeah.
I think it was $109 per opt-in before someone even reached the ESF page. So it was like, that was tough. But
$109 per opt-in, and then those opt-ins were closing at 10%, right, when we would actually dial them up. So that was not good economics.
yeah, no. So got the ads in a good position and everything. What's the next 3-4 months look like for the agency?
Yeah, so exciting, man, honestly. Because as I said, we were lucky to have a fantastic head of sales or fantastic closer on board, and I know that he's going to help us. Like next month, it should be 200K. If this ad performance keeps going, which I'm hoping it will. Because he'll be able to close 100K. We'll have a second closer come on board at that point, partially do about 25K, and then 75K, 80K should come from back end. And then from there, it's just about, scaling up closers. So go to 2 closers, jump to 3 closers. But again, like my mistake was thinking that I was in the position to do that back in January without really knowing why the ads were working, not like, thinking critically about it. But now I feel so much more confident in like bringing increasing the size of the sales team, because I feel like working with you and also just like what you've taught me, I know that I can scale these ads, right? So yeah, but in answer to your question, I would like to see us touch 100% of 300K a month, potentially a 400K a month in the next, if we're talking about 4 months, I think we can get there. And then Q4 is just going to be 500K is the goal for the end of the year, for sure.
Yeah, let's go. $500,000. Yeah. Something that you touched on too when we first started to sync up was, the ad performance was super consistent. I mean, there literally was that, I think that weekend where it was 0 calls. Had to make some like tough decisions throughout it with, your setter and even like, one of the closers and everything. So curious, because I've worked with a lot of, people in info space, agency and all that. And it's a tough decision to do that whenever like ad performance is like, you're even like changing the full funnel structure up. Like we remove the opt-ins so the setter wouldn't have ops. So just for other people that are in a similar scenario like that, having to make a hard decision, but like looking at the data, like, hey, this is not working. What would you say? Because there is a relationship I'm sure you had with.
Yeah, for sure. So the way I positioned it was actually in his best interest, because he wasn't able, like, when we broke down the numbers, it was like, well, first of all, we're not getting many opt-ins, right? Because it's $100 cost per opt-in. So he's not even got that many leads to dial. And second of all, we were comping him at that point on dollar per meeting, like a dollar per meeting booked amount. Yeah. But also on a percentage of, if one of his sets closed, he would get a small percentage, and none of them were closing either. So it just became clear to me that like, I don't think my market responds well to opt-ins, especially not at the moment. I think there's like a bit of a phase where people are like taking opt-ins out of their funnel. And I was like, well, this guy's probably going to have better success elsewhere, different setting job, different closing job, whatever. So that's kind of how I framed it. And, he agreed. And I think, it's just been pretty simple. Like we just kind of mutually agreed. It was like, best thing to do. Yeah. I think there's always a way to kind of to spin it like that. It's like, it actually tends to be like what's best for the business is best to everyone. If you're just able to frame it like that, because you don't want someone in your business that isn't contributing to its growth. That person would probably see more success in their own life elsewhere.
Yeah, fair point. Like it's a mutual thing. Just paint it that way instead of just trying to like continuously force it to work when it's just not at the current moment. Yeah, maybe at a later point, pendulum will swing back to testing out an opt-in and seeing to get some better results. But for now,
and you've just got to be unemotional about it. You've got to be logical about it. Just got to look at the numbers. If opt-ins are in, we'll do opt-ins. If opt-ins are not in, we won't do opt-ins,
100%. Yeah. Last kind of question for you is just break down your offer, because your offer's sick. Like it's actually sick. So if anyone is on here that's an e-com store, like hit up George, because he's got a pretty sick offer. They have a freaking rap sheet of results. It's just, anytime, like we've even done a couple like the VSL edits and everything and ad edits. I mean, it's like, dude, you guys have a lot of social proof. It just keeps coming too. Every like new batch is like a new, it's like we got these 3 new ones to toss in versus like other companies just reuse the same ones over and over again. It's like, it just keeps dumping them. So
yeah, we're pretty good at what we do. I will say that. Our main offer at the moment is a Google Ads setup offer. So Google Ads is super important for e-com brands to run, because obviously, the premise of Google Ads is people are searching for your products. That means they're in the market for the product. That means they have a higher buying intent than literally any other platform. So Google Ads tends to be higher profit, higher ROI, higher ROAS, and also pretty scalable as well. And so, we basically just offer to set up Google Ads for a one-time payment for these brands. Because as I say, it's like an essential part of your marketing strategy. And then, we either hand it off to them with our full A to Z Google Ads course that over 100 students have been through, and they can just run it themselves or give it to their team. Or if they want to keep us and have us run it, we can do that too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So Where can anyone find you? Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, probably best place is I'll say Twitter. Yeah, I'll drop the x.com. So it's at George Henry Clem.
Nice. And it'll be linked down in whatever platform this is. And I actually saw you had 15,000 followers on X. I wasn't following you, so I need to drop the follow. I was like, damn, he's ranking on there. Let's go.
That was what I've been doing. That was what we were doing before ads,
Yeah, so the organic you launched from, I don't think I ever touched on this with you. You actually launched, like, initially just scaled through X?
Yeah, bro. I mean, no cold email, no cold outbound. It was literally just from day one. I pretty much created an X account, or Twitter back then, just posted on there, got my first client through there, and then grew through there. But I'm so glad that we're growing through paid ads now, and I don't know why it didn't click sooner, because organic's good, organic's profitable, but it's slow, and it's up and down, right?
Yeah.
So ads are the way.
Living on the virality. But
yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate the time.
No worries.